Yo, what is good, everybody? Happy Friday evening. Oops. It's Tiny up too. What's Tinyman doing?
Like a dog, like Carl, getting released into the woods, and then they have to fend for themselves. And you see them in the world of podcasting where you don't have anybody writing things for you, and you have to express your own opinions. You're like, oh, this is the real you.
It turns out you're a moron.
Huh. Can we think of anybody similar where that's happened? Where they were maybe the largest they were the largest pundit in the United States of America, and then as soon as they got cut loose to go rogue, they're in fucking Moscow doing advertisements because Russians have groceries.
Well, I didn't know. Whoa. The whole time, actually, thinking the whole time, I never thought I'd be an entertainer. I didn't think I'd do anything with podcast. Never in a million years. I've never worked with podcast.
You were an engineer or a
robotics mechanic, yeah.
A robotics mechanic? Yeah. How did you get involved in that?
Well, I was a gunsmith for years. And there's no real applicable skills outside of that for anything, actually. It doesn't really carry over in anything. It's really its own thing. Bluing, things like that, it just doesn't carry over. A friend of mine said, hey, look, because I told him, I need a job. I'm not making it. What do you think? He's like, you should apply to be an industrial mechanic. And I was like, I don't know much about it. He's like, well, just go apply. So I did, took an aptitude test. And so the guy was like, well, I want to hire you at a level 3, which was high. It was like mid-range. It wasn't the highest, wasn't the lowest. And I was like, damn, okay. What's the pay? It was like 30 an hour. That to me was life-changing. So I took the job, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But they trained me up well. And then there were some robots on the floor. I started working on those. And then from there, they trained me in robotics. And so it was all done on site.
Like what kind of automation? Like
automation, and it was all food related.
That's actually kind of
all food robots. Yep. So we weren't dealing with Johnny Five. We were dealing with like vacuum systems and ovens and various.
You
robots.
gotta let Andrew Wilson
like for instance, there was a packaging machine that would all it do was form boxes.
Otherwise,
that's all it did. That's it. But it would form 1,000 boxes a minute. And it was a giant robot.
To be fair, if I could have that kind of pull to
robot, they always think
have people,
but almost no robot
let me
is in any way humanoid at all.
Right.
I probably
that's
would
just not what they're
too.
for.
It is weird, right? That we think of robots as like movie robots. We think of iRobot.
So I'm stuck
but if you came across a robot in a factory, you would have no idea it was a robot. You'd be like, what the hell is that?
So how did you go from that to debating?
What does that mean? I didn't know that was I thought there was a guy inside that arm that was moving things back and forth. You would know that's a robot? What is he... What? I don't know. Okay.
People online.
COVID. So the lockdowns happened.
Does he think that? I didn't know that was I thought that was magic. What is that? What is that? What are we envisioning there? Oh, bro. Okay.
And I was laid off. All the food plants in Michigan were shut down. I didn't come from a political background. There's no famous people in my family. There's just none of that. And so I feel like the grounding's always there because, even from the family, you get the call, like, from my brother, for instance, like, he's been calling me I don't know if you can say the F slur here, so I won't, but he's been calling me, faggot. He's been, he's been like the phone call since I was 15. What are you doing, faggot? It has not changed.
Good.
It has not changed. It's 42.
So
Happy birthday, faggot.
Oh my God.
That's normal.
Yeah.
I remember you were having a conversation, I think it was on Pierce Morgan, who is the best cat wrangler in the business. That's what he does. He cat wrangles.
Yeah, I just talked to him briefly.
Is he okay?
On it. Well, that's what I asked him. I sent him a DM, and I was like, hey,
people don't know, he fell.
Yeah, he fell.
And really fucked himself
And it was the
up.
hip.
Yeah.
And at his age, the hip. You don't want to, nothing with the hip.
Yeah.
Every time I see anybody who's 60s, they get the hip injury, it's bad.
Yeah, it's not good. I think they think your lifespan at post-hip surgery is like 10 years.
Yeah, it's right. And
He'll probably be better than that.
He will, and I think he's mobile.
But
he's mobile.
Like,
yeah.
I've also heard of people who get like hip surgery and then
he's
it's
like,
like they're a whole
I'm doing
new
okay.
fucking
And I was like,
person.
don't fuck around with the hips, dude.
Right?
It's crazy that he had to have a hip replacement. Like, how bad was that fall?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the details of it were, but...
I felt like a sack of spuds, he wrote. Wound up needing a new hip after fracturing the neck of his femur and is recovering from surgery. In addition to being on crutches for 6 weeks, he won't be allowed to take any long-haul flights for at least 12 weeks. He tripped on a small step inside of a London restaurant. Wow.
He was drunk.
He could have been a little fired up.
A little drunk.
Well, he's also, not the most fit or agile guy in the world.
True. Yeah.
He's only 2 years older than me.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, damn.
Yeah. Some people don't take care of themselves.
Yeah, he got the crack. Yeah, I gotta quit these. But yeah, he got the crack on the hip, and I was like, man.
Do you think that American spirits are better than Marlboros for you?
Probably.
Yeah.
But they taste like shit.
Do they?
Oh,
Is there a
terrible.
difference?
Yeah.
You really like the Marlboro taste?
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't think you can get used to American
I
Spirits.
think I could.
That's
I've been trying the
crazy.
cigarillos. Those have
are
been
those?
helpful. Like the little mini cigarette cigars.
But don't I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, Ron White
Am
used
I
to-
wrong about that barcode?
Played with
Don't
Andrew
people,
Physical
like,
automation
get hip
integration. What was your
surgery
impression
and
of
suddenly
him?
They're like, oh my god, I've
That-
never felt this good in my life. Oh shit. No. It's okay, buddy. You're gonna live a long and fruitful
I don't want to
life,
make disparable
okay?
comparisons to the Ask Yourself Discord server, but like he's very, like if he thinks he's got a good
Okay.
point, he'll debate on substance. But if he doesn't have a good point or
They're
he's lost
probably
the main
talking
point,
about,
then
like,
he will just
full-
endlessly
They're
nitpick
full on like
on
hip
like bad
replacement.
philosophical grounds. It just and that's like his bread and butter basically. He's trying to own people on.
You know what though? What if you're like young
Certainly
and you
somebody
do
would
it
shoot
because it's stronger
it's
than
just-
an actual
it's endlessly
bone,
pedantic and
you just want to fucking
not-
cyborg
yeah,
hip?
not good.
What about that?
Smoke those.
Yeah.
He just quit totally. He went to a hypnotist, quit
That's the
instantaneously,
real
but
fucking
those are
question.
loaded with nicotine, like way more nicotine than a cigarette. He was smoking those.
Yeah,
What are
good.
those little tins? We have those. What are those tins, Jamie? Do you know what they are? It's like
Yeah.
like a famous cigar company
Exactly.
that sells tins of these little tiny cigars, and it's great if you don't have the time to smoke this. Like
Yeah.
you get out of a flight, you just want to
I
have
want
a small,
a
but he
fucking
inhales
cyborg
these motherfuckers
hip.
like a cigarette.
That's brutal, dude. That'll do you in. And then washes it down with whiskey.
Well, he doesn't drink anymore.
I
you know.
want
He
cool
quit drinking.
fucking
Yeah, I
robot
think he went.
That was
parts
always in
and
his bit, though.
stuff.
He was always out there smoking and drinking. And I always thought,
Uh-huh.
I love that.
First thing, I need some robot lungs.
Do I need any?
That's
No,
what
I'm
I
good.
need.
I
Some
just
robot
collecting my
fucking
scrap.
lungs because the way I smoke,
Ooh, we're on the mega friendly
know.
queues. These guys are just offering shit up for free.
probably gonna get that cancer.
That was
Well, he did it. He did it till the wheels fell off, and then the
I want
drinking
that
was the big
cancer.
one. You know, he went to a doctor, and the doctor's like, "You're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like your liver is not in good shape. Like if you back off now, you'll probably live. If you don't, you're not. You got like a few years left."
Well,
Robot
alcoholics,
liver
they have
would
it.
be
I don't know if he
cool
was one or
too,
not. He might have been
actually.
like a heavy social drinker, but like real alcoholics, that's no way to live.
No.
I mean, they stink.
'cause, like, I don't really
but,
drink
I mean,
a lot,
kind of everything about a real
Right?
alcoholic.
I
is
don't
just they
drink a
look
lot
completely
or
unwell.
do like
They're just
a lot
kinda
of
mangled,
drugs
you know?
other than
Most
like
people with
my
substance use
ADHD
disorders, yeah,
meds.
definitely have these issues. Yeah,
What?
that's true.
It's a weird disease too. And
I
that
eat a lot of
addiction's one that you
shitty
can't
fatty
quit.
foods.
You can't just cold
That's
turkey.
not good
You'll
for your
die.
liver.
There's only a
you
couple
know?
of things that'll just kill you if you quit right away.
Yeah.
And alcohol is one of them, which is really crazy because it gets integrated into your biological system where you need it to stay alive. Your body's like, okay, we're going to use this for fuel. We're going to use this to function.
Yeah, they've been
Even though
weaning
it's
people
poison.
off alcohol with beer for centuries.
Is that what they
Go
use? Beer?
eyes
Yeah, they use beer.
first.
They would
Well,
just go,
I'm
it's pretty
thinking
common
like
to drink beer and
immediate
ale with dinner.
health
Right.
They just wean you off with beer.
issues.
They knew. They knew
right?
hundreds of years ago.
Like in
books
that
on
way.
how alcohol,
So,
you know,
like,
what they-
for
consumption
example,
or whatever they
Yeah.
called it.
Eyes would be cool,
it
but my
killed you.
eyes
If you
are
just,
pretty
if you just
good.
quit if you're an alcoholic.
So like
They
I
wean you off
don't
with beer.
really
Wonder when they started
need
making
to
hard
replace my
Because you would
eyes.
imagine like fermented
But like
things like
health wise,
wine
I
and
feel
beer,
like
the
the
first
smart
things that
thing
people
would be
consume.
okay,
around
lungs
thousands,
first,
I mean, several
then
thousand years.
liver,
I wonder, like,
and then
how
I think
big
everything
the
else
biggest-
is
The
probably
biggest,
in
was the
pretty
biggest
good
distributor
shape.
in Europe of wine was the Catholic
So
Church.
then I
Well,
could
wine
like
has certainly
start
been around forever. But like, what about hard liquor?
shit,
Jimmy, put
right?
that into our
I
sponsor.
feel like the
One of the
first thing I should do
what,
is
known,
like take
I mean,
care
we
of
don't really know
things that
because there's so
would
much
kill
weird
me,
shit about history. But like, what was the
potentially.
first in like documented hard liquor, like whiskey, vodka?
You know.
The means are. You see, the ends are what.
So you
that's all they care
cyborg
about,
eyes let you
right?
see
The
new
means to
colors.
get there.
I mean,
totally
like that
irrelevant to them.
again.
From their
That's
view,
super
though, that makes a sick sort of
cool,
sense.
right?
They believe that they're fighting against.
But my eyes
Nazis.
don't have the
Literal
potential
Nazis.
to kill me
So if you
based
believe that
on
you're
my
in a war
life
with
decisions.
literal Nazis, what wouldn't you do to complete that war? What means wouldn't you go to? What means?
As opposed to you guys who think that you're fighting against people who want to forcibly trans all of your kids and who are all communists and socialists and who want Sharia law and who are eating the cats and the dogs and who are facilitating mass migration to your country and everything. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sabotage would you not do? What
course.
cars would you not blow up?
Right.
What cops would you not eliminate
Right.
in order to stop the rise of the new Hitler?
Right.
And it's like, and they're expending their political capital on that message, and that message has a lot of influence on people.
Yeah. It also there's so many people that are getting attention by feeding into the rhetoric. There's so many people that are making viral clips of them threatening, you know, like menacing, like these weird dorky liberal guys, like these guys that you would think of pacifists. They're literally calling for violence. I got one of them because it's like the most unlikely guy. Like you see this guy doing this, like, hey buddy, like, what are you saying?
Who's following you into battle?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it because it's the way he says it too is so like he's watched too many fucking TV shows. This guy, because it's the terminology that he uses that is actually kind of funny. If it wasn't so scary, put this up real quick, sure. Because it's so. You see this guy's doughy face and his understanding of real violence. Listen to this.
When combat starts, we all roll initiative. I'm going to say that again, and everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say this. When combat starts, we all roll initiative.
I don't even know
hate
if that
to
was a
laugh.
serious video or not, but
Because it's kind of fucking serious because they're inciting violence and they're calling for insurrection. They're calling for people to
Insurrection.
take to the streets and start violence. But that guy, like, what? Like,
You're not going to roll initiative?
What does that even mean?
Well, I mean, I think it just means we all go.
Right.
When violence starts, we all go.
Dragons reference.
Is it?
yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Wait a minute.
No.
The tweet says Dungeons and Dragons in it. I don't even know.
Oh, God.
It says Dungeons and Dragons nerds means business. I think.
Oh. So
he's doing-
do a search on that. Does roll initiative, is that a part of Dungeons and Dragons? Roll that. Because I only know of Dungeons and Dragons from Stranger
So
Things.
does his AR do 2d6 damage? It's like,
But it's just the menacing way that he stares.
Oh, God, I fucking hate Andrew Wilson. Oh,
I
fucking
like
hate
how
that guy
Andrew
so
here
much.
had to pretend that he didn't know that was a D&D reference because he doesn't want to seem not cool, but he clearly does if he uses the term 2d6 afterwards. What a fucking loser. Nothing in my mind communicates more to me that you are a fucking loser than when
Go
you are
on, Barcode.
embarrassed about the things
Which
that you enjoy or
dichotomy
your
are you
hobbies.
referring to?
Okay? Like, I'm outright. If I'm like talking to a girl, I'll talk all about the lolicon. I'm just kidding. Video games, just kidding. But when people are like,
Oh, clipped.
when you know that this person is like a massive fan of, you know, whatever genre, whatever fucking anime, video games, whatever, and they're with some friends and some guy's like, yeah, I don't know how people play video games. Like, yeah, those guys are losers. Like, what are they playing Pac-Man and Mario on their Game Boy or whatever? And this guy like is grinding like 6 hours a night, 16 hours Saturday, Sunday on video games. Like, bro, come on.
The camera. Okay, here it is.
Combat.
Rolling for initiative determines
This is
the turn order in
obviously-
combat.
this
Each
is
player and
bad.
monster rolls a 20-sided die and
Okay.
adds their dexterity modifier. Oh, God. But I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's
Well,
love
that's
is
good,
cosplay.
right?
that does sound like
What's
he's saying
the
that
other
we all
side?
go there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
it sounds like that's what he's saying. And it's also, it gives meaning to people whose lives.
And they don't
Is
even
it
understand the
excuses?
fucking tweet, right? When he says the combat starts, you all roll initiative, right? It's like if the fighting starts, everybody's going to be involved. That's the point. It affects all of you, right? It's like a meme. I
Oh
mean, it's a
my
gamer
God.
D&D reference, but
Fake
it's like
conservatives,
you always
'cause
know
you're
you're
not,
fucked when
like,
you're talking to some NPC or you don't think
woohooing
anything
their
matters, and then
fucking
somebody's like,
racist
okay, I want to
thing.
open the chest, and then the DM is like,
Trump, I
all
don't
of you
even
roll
think.
initiative.
Okay,
Like, oh fuck.
the current explanation right now, by the way, Barcode, isn't even that he's agreed that he agrees with that part of the tweet. Like, he's backing off of it, and he's like, oh, well, I only saw the beginning of it. A staffer showed me. He didn't watch the end, and it was a screen recording, and it was the end of the screen recording, and he shared it without checking. So I didn't even know it was there. So someone's like, would you apologize? He was like, no, I didn't even make a mistake. I didn't see it. The staffer made the mistake. That's their current fucking thing. So anybody who's in that subreddit, everyone who's in that subreddit who's defending the tweet should know that he's not even defending it. It's like that in so many of the threats. Huh, well, they're about to have fucking egg on their face. Although I'm sure no one's going to hold them to any sort of account. really like supporting just like either you support it or you're a rhino. On the bright side, he is going to be the downfall of the Republican Party because once he's gone, they're just kind of fucked. Think about it. I mean, like, there's no coherency. There's no policy. It's just all about worshiping him. When he's gone, J.D. Vance doesn't have a cult of personality. Who is it going to be? Stephen fucking Miller? I mean, that's it. Like, after this administration, it's going to take them years to figure out their direction and what to do next. It's like with Putin in Russia. Who's going to come after Putin? How's Russia going to handle things after Putin? Right? After everything they've done, after everything he's built, yada, yada, yada. All the people he's killed who were, like, challenging to him. What's going to happen, right? It's the same thing here. That's the problem with building a fucking dictatorship like this is suddenly all the people who support you, there's no more strong leaders because you don't want anybody to actually seem stronger than yourself so that when you're gone, oh, now what do they do? Right? So dumb. Some people think it's fucking Fuentes. Fuentes, look, he may have charisma, but his rhetoric is way too extreme for anybody like as internet people, we get used to hearing the crazy shit that Fuentes says because it's the internet. But for people who actually have fucking lives, they're not going to be on board with that. Like, there's no shot Fuentes is going to be the future of the Republican Party. That would just be the final nail in the coffin after Trump goes.
Liberal women,
particularly.
Of numbers is conservative men. Conservative men, I think it's like...
Because they're normal.
I think, okay.
Because they don't go to because they don't go to the hospital. They just sit there in their homes and die of diabetes. Oh my God.
Young liberal women, 56% report a mental health diagnosis.
Wow.
Young moderate women, 18-29, 28%. Young conservative women, 27%, only slightly less. So for men, it is 34% of all liberal men. 34%. So a third of all liberal men are mentally ill, 22% of moderate men, and 16% of conservative men.
Yeah, but do you know what the lunatics argue? When
What?
you bring that up?
Oh,
these lunatics
that they want to go to the
no.
hospital.
The conservative men are just as mentally ill. It's just undiagnosed because there's a stigma in conservative communities about going to get your mental illness diagnosed. I always point out, and I think this is an interesting way to point this out,
Yeah.
like, maybe they're not going to get diagnosed because they don't have a problem. Did you ever think of that?
Oh.
It's possible it's undiagnosed, because I think that is accurate, though, that there is a stigma about mental health and therapy and things along those lines in conservative... I mean, if you want to, like...
I agree, but I also think that what happens is...
Like, it's so funny because we were having a different conversation, like about like, do you think there's a stigma around like vets being able to get diagnosed for issues related to, you know, like war or combat or whatever else? All of a sudden, we would be the most something. Oh yeah, Oh, yeah. Like, they're doing the thing that feminists say they do that they get so fucking mad that feminists say they do. Whenever feminists are like, oh, no, feminism cares about men, too, because, you know, we think that the patriarchy also oppresses men's ability to have mental health stuff or whatever. But they're like, but then when they're talking about, like, an issue from another perspective, like, actually, no, that never happens. No, actually, men don't actually have these mental health problems. It's all, like, liberal bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But if you were to talk about, like, veterans or whatever else, now the thing would shift a lot. Or the fact that, like, here are all of these men that are these young men that are having these issues and nobody wants to talk about their issues. Nobody wants to talk about their depression. That's why Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate are so important. But the position is like, it completely changes just based on the topic, like the perspective they'll have on it.
When you talk
Things along those lines in conservative. I mean,
I
if you want to, like,
I agree, but I also think that what happens is when you're talking, especially.
I also say this, I agree, and yeah, because Joe Rogan also just kind of completely contradicted him. He's like, oh, I agree, yeah. I kind of think that maybe all the men are just mentally healthy. And Joe Rogan's like, well, I think there are issues there. And he's like, yeah, I agree. And then it's like, okay, so you're too scared to debate him? He is also, by the way. Like, I would be surprised if they have a significant disagreement anywhere in here because he's so cucked and they have to agree on everything.
About the voodoo that is psychology, and it is voodoo.
It is voodoo.
I have very little respect for psychology.
Right.
I don't even consider it science. I consider that there's scientific methods used for data gathering, but I don't consider psychology a science.
And that's psychology. Psychiatry gets even weirder because then you start adding medication.
Wow.
You're not just talking about therapy.
It's all voodoo, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
I think that men often, especially conservative men, get as much out of their close relationships with friends and family as they would going to a psychologist. In other words, I think just having.
Oh, that's so crazy, huh? If you have a bunch of healthy relationships in your real life, you would get just as much out of that. Oh, really? That's crazy. Like, personally, I feel the same way about incels. Like, I think that you get just as much out of having, like, a happy, healthy, loving relationship with a woman who accepts you for who you are as you would, I guess, like, doing whatever crazy shit incels are going to, right? No fucking shit, Sherlock fucking Holmes. Jesus Christ. If you have happy, healthy friends and your life is, like, incredibly well adjusted and isn't deviating and skewing hardcore off the norm in a way that's unhealthy, yeah, no shit. You don't need to go to a fucking psychiatrist, you fucking moron.
Somebody to talk to who's a close friend who's intricately familiar with your situation probably gives you more value than going to a complete stranger who has.
I also hate when people give these statements that everybody agrees with, that everybody, even on the science side, that all of them would fucking agree with, right? Like, if you were to ask any psychiatrist or psychologist, what do you think is better, for me to go and get a therapist or for me to have a group of friends that's very supportive of me, is aware of my situation, and can give me good feedback on everything going on, knowing they have my best interest at heart, and I don't have to actually, like, pay the money for it, and it's a genuine connection? Well, I think you should actually get some Prozac. Like,
learned manipulation techniques. That's what they learn, essentially, is manipulation techniques. I think there's more value there. And so I think that the stigma which exists there, it doesn't exist because it's like you're not manly, which is how they try to frame it. I think the stigma exists there because so many conservative men go, well, I tried that shit and it was nonsense. I tried it and it sucked. I tried it and it was worth. I went to marriage counseling, did nothing. Sided with the wife, right? I went for this issue, did nothing.
I like how that's the example. I tried marriage counseling and they sided against me, so I knew it was bullshit. What if, God. We should just watch the HDR video.
Thing. But when I went out and had some beers with my friends, that actually helped relieve.
Because they all took my side. You know what he sounds like? He sounds like a fucking spoiled girl right now, spoiled white girl. I tried talking to the person and they didn't agree with me at all. But then when I went out with my girls and they all said, yeah, fuck that guy. They all agree with me. Those were my girls right there. Hell yeah, yes, queen.
Some of these issues.
I think the problem with that is there's a lot of guys who don't have good friends. You know.
Wow. Oh, wow. You don't say.
And you don't have someone that you can count on, unfortunately.
No
there's
shit.
There's a lot of men out there that
really
are lost.
I agree, but I think that the conservative men seem like they have,
I agree.
have closer longevity with friends than progressives.
Than any progressives. Really? Yeah? You really think so?
Yes, and they don't abandon them when they change their opinions on things.
Right.
So here's the self-reported data. From 2022 survey analysis found that 51% of conservatives report excellent mental health compared to 20% of liberals. That's a big difference.
Huge.
It's a giant difference.
I don't think stigma could account for that.
No, it can't. It's
not.
like it's not just stigma. It's also like what does it mean to be conservative? What does it mean, taking account for your own actions, discipline, hard work ethic? All those things are actually good for your mental health. Like pulling yourself up and getting back to work and doing things.
I think now, and I think maybe it always should have been framed this way. I think now for the label of conservative to apply, we really kind of start with religious foundationalism. That's what is fast becoming the delineation.
Right. Having a framework.
Having the framework. Right.
Yeah.
And the religious framework is almost instantly going to put you in that, moving towards that conservative camp almost every single time. And I think that that's a necessary component now. If we're trying to make these political delineations, it becomes tough. What's a Republican or a neocon versus a conservative versus this versus that? It comes down to foundationalism, a framework, like you were just saying, in the framework of Christianity, Christian ethics, huge delineation point between the right and the left, who rejects that for harm principles, utilitarianism, and various other sorts of frameworks.
Yeah, and they'll also point to, what Christianity has done throughout history and the amount of harm that it's caused. But it's kind of like every power structure throughout history you could point to in that way.
Well, it was what was there.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, the Catholic Church gets a lot of shit for this. Well, look at all the horrible things that the Catholic Church did. It's like, well, the Catholic Church was the whole known world once.
Right.
You know, all of Europe was the Catholic Church.
Right.
Not, you know, like all of it was.
Right.
You can't have organizations which span whole nations and countries.
They know a little bit of bad.
Ethnicities, cultures, integrate themselves into it and not have corruption. That I don't care what's
Like, no shit, you fucking retard, but that's a point against you. If you're saying, here's the thing that's so special, it guides our principles, it guides our life, it makes everything better. And it's like, but didn't a lot of the same shit happen under the Catholic Church than would under any other government? Well, of course, because it was like any other government. Because, of course, anytime you get a huge thing like that, it's going to be like every other thing. Oh, well, because I thought you were just arguing that that was going to be extra special and better than every other thing. But now it sounds like you're making an excuse saying, well, of course it's going to be like every other thing. No shit, fucking...
it is. Pointing to it and saying it's because they were Catholic. That's where it becomes absurd.
Right.
They were corrupt. There was corruption. But
Because
that's
they're
not
human.
because they're human, not because they're Catholic.
Right. One of the things that I always try to point out to people, they go, why do you go to church? Like, because when I was younger, I was very cynical about religion, and then I've got older. One of the things that I always say is, if there was a pill that could make you as nice as the people that I go to church with, everybody would be on it. They are the nicest fucking people you'll ever encounter. When we leave
Are
the
they
church
nice or are they
parking lot,
kind?
they're kind.
Yeah,
they're
they're kind.
Kind and nice. They're all the above. They're like very friendly, happy people. But when you leave the church parking lot, or even when you're entering, they're everybody lets everybody in. It's like no one rushes ahead. It's like you go ahead and then you go ahead. It's like the most self-organized, most charitable.
Yeah, because it's fucking church. It's boring as fuck, bro. And you're not going to cut somebody off or be crazy in the parking lot when you might be sitting next to this person in a pew when you get inside. You see these same fucking people every week. No shit, Sherlock fucking Holmes. Like, what do you mean?
Way of exiting a parking lot I've ever experienced in my life. The opposite of a concert. You go to a great concert, everybody's like fucking, you're on everybody's bumper, trying to weasel in, people are honking, fuck you. In church, it's like one person goes, another person goes, no, you go, wave, and then everybody's fine and everybody's happy. It's like, if you could take a pill that could do that to you, if therapy could do that to you, we should all be on therapy. We should all take that pill.
Philosophy can do that for you because the phenomenon that you're talking about is the me philosophy. And
Well,
so
this
you're
guy
going to
is-
church. It's not all about you.
Right.
And that's why you have those types of interactions with people. Wait, you go to a concert, that's for you. That's for me, not for these strangers. I'm going there because I want to be entertained. That's for me. You go to church, it's not for you.
Right.
And the thing is it's the kind of material.
Oh my god. Oh, well, thanks, buddy. Oh my god. That guy just got wrecked. Okay. Oh, now I'm in the real friendly
What's
lobbies. That's okay. I
Cinderella?
just spam this account to 75.
How's it going?
View, the materialistic view of pure materialism reduces always to me, me, because what else can there be?
Right.
There's just me and the material I engage with. There's nothing outside of that. So why engage as though there's something outside of that? That doesn't just lead to nihilism, but it's the beginning stages of understanding the distinction between religious foundationalism and basically everything else. The reduction doesn't come down to me. And that's why those interactions seem so much better, because they are. Because people are thinking about you.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
what a concept. Imagine a world where people think about somebody besides themselves.
And they can think about everybody as a part of a community.
And you can't
a
do
collective
that
community that you care about
without
as
religion,
valuable.
guys, by the
And
way.
there's
And then you go, why is mental health rate so much better in these
Right.
communities? It's like, well, isn't it interesting how much they think about
You
other
motherfucker.
people than just themselves and duties
Yes.
to those people
Yes.
instead of just me.
they're the kindest people you're ever going to come across.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of value in that. I think the people that are cynical about that, because they don't want to believe in fairy tales, or they don't want to be stupid, they don't want to get duped by, like, look, there's a foundation to that. If you just forget about some of the stuff that's in the Bible that, it gets weird when you get old. Like, you go back into the old stuff, because, like,
Yeah.
for sure, human beings had some sort of an influence on what was written down and what wasn't written down. But you get just to the teachings of Christ, I can't find any faults in it. Like, it's all about being kind. It's all about this idea that we're all in this together and that you're supposed to lift each other up and look after each other. There's no faults in it. It's not like you have to kill the non-believers. It's not like you get to rape and pillage for the non-believers and the infidels must die. There's none of that.
That's why
Back
why
up
Christians
there.
believe in objective truth. That there must be objective truth, because otherwise, why is most of the world following this as though
Not
it's
very
objective
nice.
truth? We seem to be leaning towards this as though
My favorite thing about talking about religion with Christians, it has absolutely nothing to do with whatever the fuck your policy positions are. Like, I'm curious. Let's take this conversation a little
It's
bit further. How do we feel like the
completely
teachings of
separated.
Christ, and how do we feel like our Catholic or Christian ideology informs our political beliefs? It always seems like they're so separate.
this must be the thing which is objectively real and objectively true, and a thing which we can point to that is. Because when people are introduced to it, like you just said, it's really hard and difficult to find fault in it. It's not just that. It's interesting. If we reverse it, if we say, what could I do that actually would be the best for me, it would still be that.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest part of the whole thing. It's like,
Right.
both ways it works for you, even if it's not all about you, or it works for you, even if it is all about you. It's still going to be the better message out of the two.
It's definitely a better framework for living your life. And there's a lot of people that just reject that think of themselves as intelligent. They think of themselves as intelligent and well-read and educated. And
too
they just
smart
think
for that.
Yeah, I'm too smart for that.
Too smart for all that.
I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
Any atheist needs to take 8 grams of mushrooms Just
Do a little DMT.
do a little DMT, and you're like, oh, I don't know anything. You think you know things. You don't know a fucking thing. You just know what you've experienced. And I think that the world is better off if people have a great moral and ethical framework. I think morals and ethics and being kind.
Wow. That's crazy. Another thing that I hate when I listen to... this sounds pretentious as fuck. But it's so boring listening to people talk about, like, morals or religions and shit. Especially Joe Rogan. What is this, like 20,000 episodes deep into this podcast? And it sounds like two kind of like teenagers exploring the topic for the first time, like on weed or whatever. Like, bro, I just think, like, the world is, like, better if everybody's, like, moral. And it's like, bro, that's actually so fucking true. And it's like, I think if you're nice to people, I think in a way it even, like, comes back around to you. So it's, like, even better if you're selfish. Like, oh, bro, holy shit. And very daring, but, like, I feel like religion gives some value, even if you're not religious. It's like, oh, really, bro? Shit, like, okay. Does anyone else love Jesus? I know I do. Can I get some W's for Jesus in the chat, please? Jubilee. It's our recent surrounded one. Swiping 20 women, pregnant or fake.
So you just made Americans pay more for everything that comes from Canada because they showed a commercial you didn't like? That sounds like being a snowflake, if you ask me.
They're posting, bro. I don't know if you're acting stupid or you're.
Oh, this guy DM'd me and asked me to debate.
Purposely just like misconstruing.
He's Deaf Noodles on Instagram, I think.
Construing what I'm saying.
It did happen. Yeah, we had funding for things that are outside of the country for transgender balls, transgender plays, transgender balls. Yes, they exist.
Of those people that are sitting in ICE detention facilities right now, how many do you think have been convicted of a violent crime?
Well, 100% because they're all illegal.
I said convicted of a violent crime.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Hi, I'm Isaiah Martin. I'm a former candidate for the United States Congress, and I'm here today surrounded by 20 MAGA Republicans. My first surrounding claim is that Trump's mass deportation plan is making us less safe. Hey, how's it going, brother? Good to see you.
Great to meet you. It's interesting that you claim that because according to the DHS, 70% of the people who have been deported so far have been criminals, either caught in the act. Yes. I'm surprised you're surprised. You ran for Congress and you don't know this?
That's what those numbers said?
That is 70%. The other 30% of people who went through the entire immigration process and had some sort of deportation detainer. So that is 700,000 people were deported like that. 1.9 million people self-deported so far. That's all DHS data. It's publicly available. You can look it up. So I'm just, how are you standing for criminals? Is that what you're doing right now?
Of interior removal, 70% of the people deported literally have not been convicted criminals. What are you talking about? That's according to DHS.
That's according to DHS? Where are you getting your data from?
DHS.
What day? This is like just recent.
What day?
I don't speak that gutter language, Daniel.
Mid-October of this year.
What's going on, guys?
Because I literally checked yesterday.
Not convicted criminals. 70% of the people deported are not convicted criminals under interior.
They were people. So they were people that had either been convicted criminals.
No.
Or hold on, are we about to dramatically expand it to?
Wait, guys? Do we want to watch
crime.
this with Tiny, or do we want to watch this on our own? Because I saw this and this looked like a really interesting jubilee. What do you guys think?
Not convicted criminals, and that is a fact.
Okay. That's not a fact.
Got him.
Literally is.
It's 70%. I'm telling you, I looked it up.
I think you got it upside down.
at the end of the day, it is what's happening. They literally publish the photos of everybody who's being deported.
So I didn't realize that they posted every single photo on
No, they published the majority of them, yeah. But there's data.
Really?
This is, yeah, I mean, you're hitting back at
You're saying they
data
deported hundreds of thousands of people and they post pictures of every single...
They're not posting. See, this is, what you're doing here is you're building like this false deflection around it. I didn't say everybody. I said they're posting photos of people who are being deported, yes.
That means that they're deporting...
They're posting, bro, I don't know if you're acting stupid or you're purposely just like misconstruing what I'm saying.
Yeah. But here's my argument. Under Barack Obama, of those that were deported under interior removals, 92% of them were convicted criminals. Of that 92%, 81% of them were considered tier 1, worst of the worst, per se. I think that is something that makes us a lot more safe than literally roaming around to go get grandmas in CVS that speak Spanish or going to that construction
That's an absolutely false narrative because that's actually
that's just what the facts say. I mean,
that's not what's happening. That's, you just see this is common with what the left does. You guys just
the left loves facts.
No,
that's kind of how that goes.
Again, that's not what you guys do at all. For anybody watching at home, this is what they do. They get a piece of data, they fabricate a narrative around it, and then they try to sell it to you as the truth when in fact it's not. So
your data.
He got owned. Sorry, you got owned.
I came here with a piece of data. You completely rewrote it in real time.
No, I gave you the facts.
You completely rewrote it. I mean, I'm surprised you ran for Congress. You're one of the most disingenuous, dishonest people that I've ever met in my entire life.
Jesus.
Really taking it back for a second. I was like,
ooh, that sounds fun. Although this one does look interesting too. But yeah, let's do it.
Presidents in my lifetime.
Joe Biden was the best president in your lifetime.
Oh, this is going to be infuriating. Oh, I can already
tell. The Democratic Party should move further left to energize young voters. Can the agreeers step forward?
Oh, yeah. I'll agree with that. I look at the New York mayoral election as an example. I think Mondani is a great candidate, and the establishment Democratic Party runs people like Cuomo, who has sexual harassment allegations, and it's a moderate. And the fact that he won pretty well is a sign that the Democratic Party should move towards the left.
So if Mondani, for instance, say he was a citizen and he was running for president of the United States, would you guys vote for him?
If he was a nominee, I would vote for him. I'm not sure I would vote for him in the primary.
Why?
Because I looked at, this is probably where we disagree, because I looked for electorability.
I would absolutely vote for him. I would vote for him because he's a star. I think what we need in our Democratic Party is a star. And I think that he's galvanizing a lot of young voters. And I think that for us as older people, it can be a little challenging, but we need to be challenged.
It's your generation that got him elected. It was definitely young people who were not used to voting who wanted him in, and that's what got him elected. And I think for anyone who has a problem with his lack of experience, he's hiring people that have a lot of experience, and I think that's in his favor.
Yeah, I think Zoran is Obama-esque. He can, like you said, galvanize the younger generation, which is something we definitely need to work on.
My feeling is if moving further left means health care for people, fixing the immigration problem instead of locking people up, and affordability and those types of things, if that is what moving further left means, I'm all for it.
I really do understand your point on electorability, but I feel like that doesn't necessarily work. I feel like a lot of times when you think in a more moderate lens as to kind of like quote unquote steal voters, I think that can almost like bite you in the butt just a little bit because you almost then ostracize like your main core people. And like we saw in New York, it was a lot of galvanization of like the younger people. And even then, he actually did very well with a lot of older generations in New York. So I feel like it's one of those points where you can't operate from the mentality of how can we best play defense, but just how can we best get our point across. And I feel like that is the direction we should be going in, personally.
Normally, I don't try to be motivated by fear, and I'm willing to take risks. But because of MAGA and Trumpism and the threat is the worst I've ever seen in my lifetime. It's really worse than anything I've experienced. That we have to be really careful, and this is not the time to take risks.
Okay, this is how I feel. Gavin Newsom is ready to fight, and I want to get behind somebody who's ready to fight.
Yeah,
and that's who I want to get behind.
To tie in all of these points, we need somebody who can communicate. That has been the problem. That you will have issues that people are talking about, and you don't have candidates or people in power who are actually able to communicate that to everyone. Right. So if that means going further left to make that happen, or staying centrist to make that happen, it doesn't matter as long as somebody can communicate. Gavin Newsom is a good communicator. Mamdani is a great communicator. So we need people like that, because the old guard has not been communicating well.
Like Schumer.
They just have
Schumer's
not.
Been terrible.
Been terrible.
Can I ask one question real quick? I'm sorry for talking a lot, but I guess for me it's kind of a conversation between communication and conviction. Just which one do you guys feel like is more important? Like this is a question I genuinely have, because I feel like while the optics and the marketing around politics is more important than it's ever been, at the same time I also want to make sure we don't go for figureheads and kind of just talking heads, you know? Making sure we have someone who actually has the conviction to actually make those ideals happen, if you guys want to speak on that.
Yeah, I think conviction is probably the biggest for me. I would argue, and I think a lot of people, I actually work in politics, I work for a Republican, not my views, but obviously. But I think they would argue that J.D. Vance is is a great communicator, right? But I don't think he has the conviction to do that. So do we need someone on the Democratic side that is a great communicator but doesn't have any conviction? Which I could see both parts. Yeah, Gavin Newsom, I would
J.D.
argue.
Vance is good at talking.
Yeah.
I don't know about communicating.
Right. I agree.
There's a big difference. Yeah.
Just because words come out of your mouth doesn't mean you're communicating. He's a puppet, like so many of them. And I think what all of us probably would agree on is that people like Donald Trump and the people that follow him have done more damage to this country in a very short time than in anybody's history. Right. And that's got to end.
I mean, I feel like what I've kind of been hearing from like your guys' side is a lot of fear. I think a lot of the motivation is fear, and I don't think that's any way to exist, you know? I think, yes, I do agree that Trump is a threat, but it's starting to sound like we're like the...
In the other direction, you think he's going to be the Mondale?
react to Trump party instead of
I don't know
our
if it
party.
would be
And I believe
that
that
bad,
we,
Daniel.
as the Democratic Party, need to start acting with whatever we want to do and our own policies. And instead of being like, oh my God, we need to react to Trump, we need to counter this. No, we need to do what we want and start leading that way, just like how they lead. And I feel like that is the way to move forward, because fear mongering, people are just tired of that.
So respectfully, I'm not sure that that's what we're saying.
Yeah, I'm not either.
We're not saying anything really about the fear of it. But we are.
I think you're saying that there's an existential threat right now,
No,
but
what
I'm
I'm
not
saying-
disagreeing with you. I think Democrats need to focus on the things that Democrats are known for, which is being about the people, caring for the people, and Democrats need to unhook themselves from corporations and from some other groups that I will.
Yeah, but again, what I'm going to
right
keep
now.
hammering on, though, is you can have the conviction about it. You can believe that this is what you're going to do or want to do. But if you can't communicate that to the people, then you have lost them.
I think Joe Biden's a great example of that. I mean, not a great communicator, but I would say he had, at least in some points, he had a backbone.
And he got things done. Joe Biden did not have a backbone. I mean, just in general, I think he was terrible for the Democratic Party, and I think he's a perfect example of a centrist. I personally did not find him to be left-leaning at all.
I agree.
Well, he got a lot done.
But he got a lot done.
He was one of the best presidents in my lifetime.
I mean,
Joe Biden was the best president in your lifetime.
Statistically, he was.
This is the difference of us being
He was a
in our
grandpa, though.
60s and you're in the 20s, because we have 40 years of experience. And this is also to the earlier points. We've lived through Reagan, both Bushes, and Trump is far worse than those people. That's why we have more fear. And we've seen Clinton and Obama, and Joe Biden in his term got more done than those past presidents.
So,
it's very impressive, because we can see through the long term.
So can you speak specifically on what you feel he did?
Well, he passed the stimulus bill. He did a lot to fight global warming in terms of the presidential, not bills passed, but
the PACT Act. I mean,
so we're just going to
defended the ACA.
So we're just going to completely ignore what he did abroad and in Palestine.
Yeah, no, we're not saying his foreign policy was bad.
No, but I do think that foreign policy and policy in general is Joe Biden's impact on the world. I don't think that we should just be looking at it through an U.S. American lens. I think we need to look at what Joe Biden did to the world.
I agree. I want to add something. So I want to add a perspective that is typically commonly ignored. So I'm Native Hawaiian. My kingdom has been under the illegal occupation of the United States government since 1893, when the overthrow of our queen, Queen Liliuokalani, who was a woman. It was a woman that was overthrown in. Yes, Queen. I love her so much. But what's really interesting is that ever since the provisional government basically allowed for the territory of Hawaii to exist and then into the state of Hawaii, ever since it has been.
Conviction matters. That's why I work for a Republican as a leftist. Huh. Fortunately, Zoran is ineligible. Inshallah, Pepto Bismillah. True. Hyperbole, yes, but he's too far left of independence than most Democrats. Kamala Harris ran a relatively similar campaign to Biden, who was centrist, and independents bought the shtick that MAGA sold of her being a leftist, which is crazy. That's true. I forgot about him and his college application being African. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Democrats predominantly that have been leaders in the fake state of Hawaii. And I definitely do believe that, especially young Native Hawaiian people, we really need a push towards the left, especially because it is our human rights that are being violated consistently by the United States and its military.
Yeah, but if you're talking about American imperialism, like how far back do you want to go? What do you want to do? Are you really talking about a revolution? Because most people have no idea the amount of territories that I'm not saying most people, I'm not saying y'all. No, the amount of territories that the United States has possession of, has colonized, and the whole thing.
First thing that needs to happen is we need to shift our mindset, and we need access to education. That's the first revolution that needs to happen, is in our minds.
No, and I agree. I feel like everything comes back to education, like she was saying, and even on your point of what revolution could look like today. That's a question I feel like I ask myself a lot, and I feel like it fully starts from the educational lens. I think when you look at kind of the American project and how, I guess for lack of a better word, cumbersome it is, it's not to a point where you could just have a French Revolution and just get it like that, like 30 Francis, right? Just
no, but as important as education is, the problem today is, the internet is the good news and the bad news. Because it used to be, for an education, you went to school and you listened to teachers and you read books. And today, people go to the internet, and it's like, depending what site you're on, you can go far left, far right.
The school system has kind of failed us.
Yeah, I would say the United States education system is U.S. propaganda.
No, it's mind blowing when you finally realize it, because you don't realize it when you.
That's such a reductive take.
But if you want to talk about the American experiment, you have to start from the African continent, the Canadian border, the Native Americans, who else? The Hawaiian island. I mean, you're just...
And we should be doing that.
Yeah, we should. We should, and that's the operative word is should.
So I think that what the Democratic Party needs to do to push itself left is to start by going all the way back and recognize the United States legacy of imperialism.
Violence,
And violence, exactly, and the harm that capitalism has caused. And instead of being like, oh, well, we can't go that far back. No, we need to start recognizing what the United States has done globally. And that is what I would love to see the Democratic Party doing.
So once they do that, what happens then?
I think that there's so many different systems that have been laid out by so many different indigenous groups of people. Like there's so many alternatives to Western way of politics, of economy, of even thinking for millennia. Like we need to be going back to really analyze the things that our ancestors or the ways that our ancestors have lived. Like it's so valuable.
The creation of the United States is new.
Half a comment
it's very,
there.
very new. And so I think that what the United States has done, and specifically the West, what the West has done is try to instill in us this idea of this is the only way of living. This is how we have lived for so long. When in reality, that is not the case. Nation states are new. The United States of America is new. And by recognizing all of that is how we can truly move forward.
And it starts with education.
I guess we're speaking on backgrounds. My people are Kenyan. Like I'm a first generation American. And I feel like when I think about kind of the American mentality, it's a very individualized system. Whether we're thinking about capitalism in general, but specifically in the West, and even in the Democratic Party, it's very much what can I do for you? What can you do for me? Like it's very transactional in that sense. And I want to see more communal thought. You know, understanding what can you do for your environment as a whole, seeing that our community in and of itself is a living organism, and understanding how we can build and like bring that together. That's personally what I think.
To me, right now, the reason politics doesn't work for us as individuals has a whole lot to do with capitalism and the connection between political parties and corporations. And I'm just using simple man's logic because it's a lot. It's a lot to peel apart. But at the end of the day, a politician, to me, in my opinion, has to be a politician. And there's all this dealing that has to happen that ends up leaving those people down at the bottom to fend for themselves.
But I think specifically on that point of the Democratic Party and the direction it needs to go, I feel like the New York case is so particularly interesting because Mamdani didn't even receive many endorsements until it was very obvious that he would win.
Right.
And I feel like it's one of those things where,
it's so
and I hate to
crazy
bring
to
up the
me
idea
how
of
it's like just a truism that capitalism is just inherently bad. It's so fucking frustrating. It's just like, oh, capitalism, it's terrible, it's so bad, that's why we don't like it, we want to get away from it. Yeah, and do what? Do what?
I'm not saying this is all what you guys have been communicating, maybe a little more you, but in general, speaking on that fear-mongering point, I think it's one of those things where the idea of the status quo has always been my biggest gripe with the Democratic Party.
Yes.
I think there's always a big push for respectability politics and understanding how can we best slowly make things happen as to maintain a level of normalcy. And I feel like Mamdani, as an example, and just other people of that mindset mentality, might be in a more, I don't know, inspired or passionate type of push, and I appreciate that. Personally, I was a Bernie guy in 2016. I mean, I was 12, but like personally, I really appreciated like the level of passion he brought to politics. And I think when you look at the way like he was ignored or kind of brushed apart by the party, I think a push left would kind of create more of that environment. Personally,
what this nation needs is like what happened in South Africa.
Seize the means of reproduction. Hey, I believe we call that grape. The last date I went on, by the third time she said capitalism, I knew there wouldn't be another.
Criticize Joe President. You frequently criticize Joe Biden for not knowing what is going on in his name. This racist video that was posted on your social media.
I know a hell of a lot better than you do. You don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. No, Joe Biden didn't have a clue. But we know everything.
What a fucking retard! Oh my god, dude! Oh my god. Oh my god. What an idiot. Told her how I like to listen to music when I work because it helps me focus and be more productive. And she was like, wow, that's so capitalistic when you think about it. Fuck off. Oh my god, dude. What if... I just, like... And the thing is, like, everyone with, like, half a brain... Wait, are you for real? Hang on. Is this really what happened? Is YouTube fucking stopping my stream because I'm playing Jubilee? Is this fucking real? Wait, let me see. Let me see. Bro, fuck YouTube, man. Fuck it so much. Holy shit. Holy shit. Because I'm playing fucking Jubilee. And now it's back up. You know what, YouTube? You are absolute dog shit. Jubilee, you are like the worst slop fucking bullshit channel ever. You know what? Bye, YouTube. Goodbye. Fuck you, Jubilee. I'm going to kick, and I'm playing your fucking video anyway. You pieces of shit. How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you?